Our generation was meant to inherit the stars. And now I'm the last. The only surviving member of the House of L.
The blood of House L will always bind us together.
Hey everybody, there's a whole bunch of Superman mythos stuff to break down. We have the Krypton prequel stuff that's coming. I'll explain when that's premiering, what's going on with that series, as well as Brainiac 5, who is now a character in the DC TV universe. So two completely separate things. Like, we actually might see Brainiac show up on the Krypton show, but because that's taking place a couple hundred years before the events in present day, it would be like the proto-Coluan version of Brainiac. Not Brainiac 5, who we're getting ready to see, who's a clone of a version of Brainiac. So I know it gets a little confusing when you're talking about Brainiac because he exists in multiple different versions simultaneously, and then there's all kinds of comic book stuff that got really confusing with the New 52 and Convergence. So don't worry about any of that. And because so many of you have been requesting that I do it, there'll be a Legion Flight Ring giveaway for all the Superman related stuff that's going on. So anything that's non-Flash DC video, that's Legion Flight Ring. So be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. So if you're not sure what's going on or you don't watch Supergirl, on the 15th, Brainiac is making his entrance. He's going to help them bring Supergirl out of the coma that she got her ass beaten into by Rain during the mid-season finale.
I have to wake up.
You were warned.
I don't like our odds without Supergirl by our side.
We have a literal legion of superheroes.
When will she wake up?
So if you've never watched Supergirl before, I would recommend that you check out episode 10 just so you can see what a version of Brainiac looks like in the DC TV universe. Their version of the character actually looks like it's more inspired by the Justice League Unlimited animated version, who did have some sort of relationship with Supergirl when he came on that series. I think it was like season 3, episode 10.
All of our teammates have been captured. To save them, we'll have to break the laws of time and recruit heroes from the past.
But messing with history? That's risky, even for us.
Now, this boy Kara likes so much, does he have a name?
But even though there's been evil and good versions of him depending on which era of the comics you're reading, he's the one that created the Legion Flight Rings, and it sounds like they might play it back and forth a little bit, like make you wonder if he ever might become evil just because he's Brainiac. They tend to have fun with stuff like that, and you may remember when the show was still on CBS, they did a version of Indigo played by the Supergirl from Smallville. Now that's more Brainiac 8, so she's like an evil version of the character from a future timeline. So remember how I said the timeline gets kind of confusing when you're talking about Brainiac, because Brainiac 5 is from the 31st century. Indigo, Brainiac 8, existed during present day. She had been trapped in the Phantom Zone. So just don't worry about it too much. We can talk about Indigo when I do my video for the episode, because Legion of Superheroes is a pretty big deal. We learned about Mon-El being sucked into the future, 31st century, but they found out that something terrible happened. It sounds like they knew that Rain was going to come and destroy the Earth, so they wanted to come back in time to help Supergirl, but they came back in time too far, so now everybody is slowly waking up from these pods. Everybody in the pods is a member of the Legion of Superheroes. We have Saturn Girl, Mon-El, and now Brainiac 5. It remains to be seen which other characters they're going to introduce, because the Legion is a really big group of people. But for those of you that are like, what the hell is up with Brainiac's look? Why does he look like a total freak? I think that's because they want you to be a little afraid of the character because you don't know whether he's going to be good or he's going to be evil, even though he's a good character. I don't know how many episodes they're going to be in, but I'm assuming that they'll have something to do with helping them defeat Rain. So I think part or most of the Legion will be around for the rest of the season on Supergirl. But that is probably where we get our first Legion Flight Ring. But they haven't explained because Superman has a Legion Flight Ring in the Fortress of Solitude, so they'll probably sew up some of that logic, like, oh, this is where he got it from. But moving into Superman Krypton prequel territory. So if you didn't know, it's kind of like Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles. It's a time travel story with somebody trying to mess up Superman's timeline so that he never winds up becoming Superman and it destroys the Earth. And in order to do that, this mystery person that we're going to find out about over the course of season 1 travels back in time a couple hundred years to Krypton and just messes with his family. So it's all about Superman's grandfather, Seg-El, played by this character, fixing his family, fixing his heritage. So like you see them entering the proto version of the Fortress of Solitude. They announced that it's going to premiere on March 21st. Now, that's a Wednesday, so I'm assuming that it's always going to be a Wednesday night show. They haven't said what time it's going to air at, but most sci-fi series like Magicians air at around 9 p.m., so I'm assuming that's when it's going to be. There aren't any other Wednesday TV shows that I do videos for, so it should be pretty easy. I think there's only going to be 13 episodes in season 1, and I'm assuming they're just going to air all 13 without any breaks, but we'll find out more about that as we get a little bit closer. They'll release more trailers. Right now, we really only have a couple of teasers. So if you weren't sure what was going on with Krypton, it's Adam Strange in present day finding out that someone is messing with Superman's timeline, like he just winks out of existence, so he goes back in time to help Superman's family fix their timeline. But because we're in outer space and we're back in time a couple hundred years, they tease crossover, like obviously Adam Strange is a crossover character, but they tease some Hawkworld stuff, they tease that there would be some other characters from the Superman mythos that would show up, but the big ones that they revealed are Hawkgirl, Doomsday, and Charis, who's actually an Amazonian, so I don't know how they're going to work in the Wonder Woman mythos to ancient Krypton, but it should be pretty interesting. Like if you saw Justice League, they had that pre-credit sequence where they're all battling Steppenwolf off. They'll probably find some interesting way of weaving that in, but if you've ever watched any version of the Superman mythos, they've teased that Kryptonians visited Earth a long time before Superman himself ever landed on Earth. Like that's how the scout ship in Man of Steel wound up there, because a long time ago, Kryptonians used to be a race of explorers. So when we get closer to the series, I'll revisit that Jor-El pre-credit sequence in Man of Steel, because he sort of tells their history where it was like, we used to be these grand explorers, but things changed, we became more isolated, more xenophobic, and then that led to our downfall. So if you have any big questions about what's going on with DC TV stuff like Brainiac 5 or the Krypton series, Superman stuff, just let me know in the comments. But there's still a lot of news that they'll be announcing because the TCAs for DC TV is this Sunday, so I'll be doing a video for that. They'll probably announce which series are going to be renewed, and we'll probably find out about the new comic book TV shows that are premiering this year. I'm hoping to get some news about the Deadpool TV series, but we'll see about that. And we're also supposed to get a Legion Season 2 trailer, so just like a whole bunch of TV stuff dropping really soon. So just be on high alert for trailers to be dropping. There's a new round of the Legion Blight Ring giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and just share the video using the YouTube tools on the watch page here. Congratulations to the winner from my last video, Eshrak Alam. Please private message me so I can get your contact details. Click here for brand new Flash footage, and click here to learn about the big changes they just announced for the DC movie universe. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.